The CEO spent over $100 million searching for a man whose name she didn't even know. Private investigators were hired across 3 continents. Databases were cracked open. Old CCTV footage was restored frame by frame. Flights, hotels, bribes, nothing was too expensive. To her, this man was the missing piece of a puzzle that haunted her success. What she didn't know was that he was already part of her life, standing just a few feet away every morning, pushing a cleaning cart down the marble halls of her own company. Ava Sterling was one of the most powerful CEOs in the world. Her tech empire had reshaped industries, made headlines, and turned her into a symbol of ruthless intelligence. But behind the glass walls and designer suits lived a secret guilt. Years ago, before the empire, before the money, someone had saved her life and vanished. That night had changed everything, and she had sworn she would find him one day, no matter the cost. Ethan Cole didn't know any of this. His world was much smaller. He woke up before dawn, packed his daughter Lily's lunch, braided her hair as best as he could, and walked her to school before heading to his second job, the night shift as a cleaner in a towering corporate building downtown. The pay was low, the hours brutal, but it was honest work. And honest work was all he had left after life had taken everything else. Every morning, Ava passed him without a glance. To her, he was just another cleaner in a blue uniform, head down, wiping fingerprints off glass. She barely noticed the people who kept her world spotless. Her mind was always on contracts, mergers, and the ghost of a man who once pulled her from a burning car and disappeared into the rain. Ethan noticed her, though. Everyone did. The way executives straightened when she walked by, the silence that followed her heels clicking across the floor. Sometimes when she passed him, their eyes almost met, but she always looked through him, not at him. It didn't bother him. He was used to being invisible. Years earlier, on a stormy night, Ethan hadn't been a cleaner. He had been a mechanic driving home after fixing cars all day. When he saw the crash on the bridge, a luxury car smashed against the railing, smoke pouring out, he didn't hesitate. He ran toward the flames while others froze. He broke the window, pulled a woman out just before the car exploded, and vanished before the sirens arrived. He never asked her name. He never wanted a reward. He just wanted to get home to his pregnant wife. Life didn't reward him for that bravery. His wife died during childbirth. Medical bills buried him. His garage failed. He sold everything, including his tools. All that remained was Lily and the promise he made to her mother that he'd raise her with kindness, no matter how hard life became. One evening, Ava stood alone in her office, staring at a pause video on her screen. The footage was old, grainy, enhanced by expensive software. The rescuer's face was still unclear, but something about his posture, the way he moved, it felt familiar. Frustrated, she shut the laptop and decided to leave early. As she walked toward the elevator, she slipped on a freshly mopped floor. For a split second, she felt the same helpless terror from years ago. Before she could hit the ground, strong arms caught her. "Careful, ma'am," a calm voice said. She looked up and froze. Those eyes, they were older now, tired, but they were the same eyes she had seen once through fire and smoke. Ethan gently helped her stand and stepped back, already apologizing. "Sorry about that. The sign must have fallen." Ava couldn't speak. Her heart pounded so loudly she barely heard the elevator ding. "What's your name?" she asked, her voice barely steady. "Ethan," he said. "Ethan Cole." The name hit her like lightning. The next day, Ava didn't sleep. She reopened every file, every report. When she compared timelines, employment records, and old hospital logs, the truth became undeniable. Ethan Cole, the cleaner she ignored every day, was the man she had spent $100 million trying to find. She called him into her office the following morning. Ethan walked in nervously, thinking he was in trouble. He stood awkwardly, hands clasped, eyes on the floor. "I owe you my life," Ava said quietly. He looked up, confused. She told him everything: the crash, the search, the money, the years of regret. As she spoke, tears slid down her face. Not the tears of a CEO, but of a woman who had finally found her savior. Ethan listened in silence. When she finished, he shrugged softly. "I just did what anyone should do." No, she said. You did what no one else did. She offered him more money than he could imagine. A house. Education for Lily. A position in her company. Ethan hesitated, not because he didn't need it, but because pride and pain had shaped him. I don't want charity, he said gently. Ava smiled through tears. Then let it be respect. Weeks later, Ethan was no longer invisible. Not because of money, but because his story reminded an entire company what humanity looked like. Ava personally made sure Lily had everything she needed. And every morning when Ava walked through the lobby, she made eye contact. She never ignored him again. And sometimes, the most valuable person in the room isn't the one in the suit, but the one quietly cleaning the floor, carrying a story worth more than $100 million.